So, this is Flush. He's different from the others in that he seems pretty bent on killing you, but he's completely hopeless with that knife. He can barely cut fruit with that thing, let alone cut you. Then again, you're probably not one to talk either. He's a bit fast, and your random flaying isn't hitting him that much. However, he does seem to be vulnerable to special moves. Both of you are relatively tired, but you've got to get the upper hand before he remembers what the word stab means. Also, your helmet is starting to show some wear.
Acquire axe tech. Accident.
You've got a few ideas for an axe tech, but your axe is fed up with the lack of trees around here and refuses to cooperate.
Try switching out the axe with the crowbar.
Yeah, might as well switch them out and see if it helps. You acquire the crowbar. This ingenious amalgamation of birds and alcoholic beverages will allow you to dominate the boxes of any post-apocalyptic metropolitan police you may come across. This truly is an honorable tool, used for a great number of purposes and— That's the blunt end, you twit! You're starting to feel a bit ashamed that someone like you is actually putting up a fight with this guy. How'd he even manage to break in here in the first place?
De-inventorize the dinner set in his face.
That would probably be the quickest way to end this right now, but naturally all the fighting you've been doing has moved you back up into the green, where your half-empty bottle of water is at. What's he up to now?
Next time he attacks you, dodge and get him to run into the black gunk.
He lunges at you, but you step over to the left and he misses you completely. Wow, he's hanging by his feet. This is stupid. You're going to go take another look at that elevator. Oh! Hey Flush! You're sporting the evil red eye look rather nicely.
Flush. Use Cyclone Cistern.
Oh no, what are you going to do to me? Not spray me with water to death? Or you could spin around, that's cool too.
Mace plus spinning man equals twice the damage with half the effort.
Yeah, this would probably be the way to go. He's gaining speed pretty quickly. You might as well hit him before he gets any faster. Whoa! Suddenly, that knife seems a lot more dangerous. A melee attack would be pretty ill-advised in this situation.
Use your mace tech on him.
This is a good idea. You'll need to put a little distance between him and yourself first, though.
Run like the clappers!
Oh my god!
Dispense whatever is currently accessible in your inventory. Hopefully it will jam him, or knock him out.
It just went around him! Ah!
Use crowbar to lash into the edge of the trapdoor, and pull yourself down it.
Oh man, that was close. You're safe. For now. That must be his ability, much like what Slick does with his puddles, and what Jose tried to do with his hose. You're not sure if he'll be able to follow you down here like that, but you've got to figure out something quickly, because he's still gaining speed outside. Everything that bolted down is likely to be spinning around him now, including your axe and the cardboard cutout.
Grab some lockers, and make a barricade in the hallway.
You feel your way back to the bathroom and get inside. The lockers are strewn about, but intact for the most part.
Go back to the bathroom, and get a lot of the black gunk out of the faulty shower.
This is a brilliant idea and you do it in a heartbeat. But you've got to remember that your helmet is made out of plastic and not metal. Plus, it's been weakened. The goo will probably eat through it before you can rush it up to Flush. It's already eaten a deep hole into the bottom of the shower. You might be able to use the locker as a container, but they're heavy enough as it is and you'd never be able to get it up the ladder. With a bit of effort you manage to push the 4 lockers out to where the ladder is.
Just head back to the worker. See how he's doing.
You carefully continue all the way down the hallway and down the ladder until you arrive in the sample storage area. You then make your way over to the transport crane to check on the worker. He's glad you arrived. He's been trying to fix the crane the entire time, but has accomplished absolutely nothing thus far. He says his helmet is jammed in the arm door, and also that the maintenance panel is stuck fast. He doesn't have a clue about all the stuff that you just went through, does he?
Ask if the arm door opens in the wider. If not,
team up with him and yank the helmet out.
It does open wider, but it has to close completely before it can open again. It's weird like that.
Hand over the crowbar to him so he can pry open the maintenance hatch. While he's doing that, see if you can lever his helmet out of the arm door with your mace.
You give the worker your crowbar and tell him to open the panel. You take the ball off your mace and try to remove his helmet in the same fashion. The worker manages to get the hatch open, while you realize the mace handle does not make a good crowbar. Obviously, while feeling very happy with himself, he comes up to you and tells you to let a man do a man's job.
Let a man do a man's job.
Well, he's got the crowbar. The least you could do is to let him think he's doing something useful.
How does the black goo melt safety hats, but not your flesh?
It does melt your flesh. It's just that you've always had some water readily available to wash it out before it does. From past experience, it takes roughly 30 seconds to a minute before it starts to burn. You're not entirely sure past that. The rate at which objects dissolve even beyond the first minute seems to be completely arbitrary. The stuff ate through the floor of the shower in the bathroom here, but back at home it only melted to your own shower a little bit. Maybe it just likes the tiling or something. What's this guy up to now?
Take his helmet as payment.
Oh yeah, you are the Queen of Suave. Because he knew that was going to happen. Yes. The worker is a bit distressed over how you're wearing his hat and they're currently showing no intention of giving it to him. He's still doing better at keeping it in than that first worker though, so that's good. You take the opportunity to explain your current situation while you have his full attention.
Reenact what you went through with the power of interpretive dance.
Unfortunately, you can't think of a way to effectively communicate the giant death tornado looming above your heads via interpretive dance. So instead you simply try to put things into perspective for him.
I don't care, just give it back.
He just really wants his helmet back. Blech. Might as well forget it and move on.
Ask if there are more helmets somewhere so you can replace yours. Perhaps there is a stronger metal helmet.
He says he's sure that the other workers have replacement helmets, but he wouldn't know where they keep them all.
My helmet is mine alone, and no other helmet will replace it. Ever. Each worker is given a different set of equipment depending on what they do, so if anyone were to have a stronger helmet, it would probably belong to a heavy class maintenance worker. Can't say whether or not they'd be made out of metal though.
He also wants his hat back, please. Like, really? That hat was made for him. It has his name in it. He went to prom with that thing. His hopes and dreams revolve around that hat. He wants it back. He needs it back. He's not going to give back the crowbar until you give back the helmet. Crap.
Okay, now you can kiss him.
Fine. You suppose you have no other way to convince him. You expend some of your dignity, bat your eyelashes a little, and get the blood pumping in your face. Oh, please, mister. I really would appreciate it if you could let me keep this helmet. I really needed to help save all your friends from those big mean guys. And if you could just let me borrow it for a few minutes, it would mean the world to me. Perhaps a kiss would help you decide?
You wouldn't be the first who's tried that.
God damn! You don't know why you keep trying to pull this stuff. There's probably a reason as to why you've never managed to get a date, ever. Is your face really that unflattering? You tell him to give you a few minutes.
Leap with gleeful abandon down the hole.
Instead, you proceed to leap into the hole, which is only about a foot or two deep, and shock yourself from the live wiring at the bottom. You probably should have looked.
Perspective. Switch to Jose again. He's always excellent for a couple of laughs. There you are. You finally found Jose. And in the nick of time too, because by the looks of things, you're going to save his life. Why the hell did he get dropped off here?
Jose, spray that goo with water to death.
Jose isn't conscious. He can't do any of that right now. But you're curious as to why he didn't earlier. You take a look at his compression cistern. Oh, it's jammed shut. It's supposed to activate and refill itself when the lever is pushed, but for some reason the lid isn't budging. You force the lid open. It was probably rusted shut or something. That thing never did get much use. It should work now at least.
Slick, save his ass.
For the second time, you combine 2 of your space techs and a puddle tech to form the Puddle Sanctuary. Puddle Trap allows people other than you to teleport through a specific puddle. Vacuum Puddle sets a target towards it. Dimensional Hopper allows for indirect transportation between any known puddle in the universe. Put the 3 of these together, and you get a Puddle Sanctuary, a miniature wormhole that, instead of harming its victims, shelters them from whatever harm may have come to them otherwise. Jose is immediately sucked inside. When he comes out on the other end, he'll be perfectly fine. The only problem is you have no idea where he's going to come out. But that's just how your dimensional hover ability works.
Check around the room. See if there's anything interesting here.
You don't see much. Just some goo, the unusual puddle you came out of, and a hatch in the ground. You're not even sure if this is a room. The ground has slopped quite a bit, and you can hear the sound of waves slapping up against metal. You swear you can almost feel a slight breeze hitting your suit.
Worker, revive the concerned citizen with the kiss of life.
Oh man, you're trying. She had to go and jump into an electrified maintenance panel. And now she's out cold. You went to the crane controls and shut off the power as soon as you saw her jump. But she's seriously been hurt. Her heart stopped, but you've managed to get it going again with CPR. The only problem now is to get her to breathe through all the blood she's coughing up. You're trying mouth to mouth, but it's seriously starting to get sloppy. You hope she doesn't have a blood infection or something. Aside from the whole near-death and coughing up blood thing, she'll be fine provided you can get her breathing again.
Flip her over for a sec to let some blood drain from her mouth.
You roll her over. She seems to be having an easier time breathing now. You also put the crowbar back in her hand, as you'll doubt she'll be objecting to you taking your helmet back anytime soon. Oh man! You missed having your helmet not lodged between the heavy metal doors of the crane. You guess she'll probably wake up in a few minutes. In the meantime, you should probably focus on getting the crane running.
Turn off the power and start fixing whatever may be broken in the hatch.
The arm doors are closed, so now there's only the stuff under the panel to worry about. You hop down to see what's wrong. Most of the stuff here looks fine, save for this one bit here. Circuitry has never been your forte. At least from what you can tell, all the connections have been removed, cutting all power to the movement systems. The connectors are probably still around here somewhere. You take a quick look around and find all the connectors. Well, most of them. The 5th short connector has been snapped in half. You'll be able to restore power to the crane without it, but it won't be operating at its full potential. You're just a driver class worker. You really don't have much experience with this sort of stuff. However, a lot of the maintenance workers say this stuff is really easy, and given enough pieces and a small enough panel, one can literally just plop them down until they power up the whole grid. You'll give it a shot.
Just use 3 smalls on each category.
You put down 3 small connectors and turn the power on. Well, nothing wrong with the bare minimum, you suppose. The crane should be fully operational now, and if you ever need, you can come back here and rearrange things as you see fit.
Try this.
You decide to try a few more combinations. If you ever have any inspiration for a different configuration, you can easily open up the panel and change the connections around whenever you need. Although you've covered most of the board this time, only 3 of the lights are green, which is odd.
Remove all the connectors, then place the longest in speed. Then put the triple connector covering all the 2s.
This one has even less green lights.
Well, if you really want to, you can use the long and medium on speed so it can get up to cruising. And replace the small one on brake with the double one. Going fast with full brakes is a bad idea.
This one's looking the most promising at the moment, so you'll use this. Alright, now that the transport crane is out of the way, you should probably check on the girl again to see if she's alright. What's his problem?
Wipe that blood off your mouth.
Yeah, this is pretty disgusting. The blood on your outfit is starting to dry, though. You'll need some water to wash it off. Or perhaps your spare outfit, which is hopefully still in your locker.
Try this.
You try your best to fit the connectors into another new layout, but find that you're having difficulty connecting more than one piece to the right side of the board. Still, it's better than the last layout you tried.
Try this then.
You nailed it! Everything's lit up save the one. And not only that, you can easily rearrange it to put full power to any 2 rows you want. Shame you weren't able to bridge that last one, though. Alright, we're up and running. You can now use the crane to carry a vat, or just about anything else really, between here, the offices, and the reservoir. So, what'll it be?
Concerned citizen. Have a plot-related dream.
A cute girl stands at the edge of a crosswalk, probably off to head to school or something. You don't know. You've always found school to be incredibly boring. Good thing you're not her. Although, you must admit, this isn't any better.
Grow a beard?
You haven't even hit puberty yet. Besides, you're not sure you'd want a beard. You wouldn't want to intimidate anyone out of giving you change simply because of some uncanny facial hair.
Bedraggled man, reminisce of name and what happened.
You know your own name perfectly well, but unfortunately, that's about it. You have no idea who your parents are, and you've been hiking all over these stupid islands looking for some sort of shelter, surviving only off the generosity of shopkeepers and church patrons.
That's because you don't have to attend school. Yay!
You are seriously not in the mood to dance right now. You haven't eaten today, and you still need a little more change before you can get some food.
Man, see if you can find a bit of cash.
There's no one around to get cash from. Bit of a shame, really. Wait, there's 2 people headed this way. The 2 of them head out into the middle of the street. They seem to be rather cheerful, and you're able to overhear them talking about a plane that they've got to catch in a few hours.
Sit and hug your knees, making sure to keep eye contact with them for as long as possible.
They must not be from around here. You invoke one of your many beggar's stratagems, namely, the one that has a bonus when working against a tourist. You curl up into a ball and start shivering. Even though it's 20°C out here, logic holds little bearing on tourists, as long as you can make your performance look convincing. They just stare, blankly. The short man moves towards you and your cup. The tall man is caught off guard by this development. The short man reaches into your cup. Score! The tall man is looking unreasonably nervous, though. Something's up. Anyways, the short man pulls his hand out of your cup and brings out most of your change with it. He had seriously better not be doing what you think he's doing.
Summon your hidden French powers and assault the thieves.
You're not Oh. The tall man asks you to kindly excuse his friend. He's a bit of a douche like that, but hey, it happens. He also says that he would greatly appreciate it if you don't move until he and his friend are out of sight. This gun he's holding is a sniper rifle, and it's silenced to boot. So if your head doesn't explode, it will, at the very least, be embedded in the wall behind you, and no one will be able to hear it. He and his friend are going to slowly back away now. He says he is a very good shot, so don't even think about trying anything funny until they're very, very far away. Despite having a gun pointed at your face, you still can't seem to shake how incredibly nervous this guy is. You've got plenty of ideas going through your head as to what you should do, but there seriously isn't much you can do if a guy's got his gun pointed at you. You're just a kid. The two men start backing down the street. Whoa.
That's the French powers you've always been looking for. Ask him to let you be his apprentice.
He tells you to get lost. Also, he's not French. Well, at least it was worth a shot.
Man, loot buddies.
He goes through the short man's pockets and pulls out a huge-ass diamond before heading off.
Sneeze violently.
Well, he's definitely dead now.
He can't be dead. His eyes are in Texas. Finish him off.
Oh, oops. There we go.
Well, wait till that guy leaves and take back your money from the dead guys.
He's not leaving.
I don't know if that was intentional, but thanks. As outrageously strong as I am, I have to admit, I've been getting sloppy. I doubt that gun would have killed me. You've got guts for doing that. You don't look like you're headed anywhere, so come with me. Doesn't sound like much, but it's better than what you've got now. Either way, your choice. Follow me or not. I've got a plane to catch. But in case you are going to come with me, the name's Tubbs.
It really has been a while, hasn't it? Tubbs may be an asshole, but he saved you from starving to death on the streets. Granted, all you've ever done since is help him steal stuff, but he saved your life and is the closest thing you've got to family. And it seems like Slick has managed to pull you out from wherever you were and save you again. You'd think all these years with Tubbs and Flush would have taught you to stop being so goddamn vulnerable, but no.
Go modify your FLUDD so it doesn't suck so much.
That's a funny thing, because your compression cistern is working perfectly all of a sudden. You have no idea why it jammed earlier, but somehow it managed to get itself fixed.
What are you supposed to be doing right now?
You have no idea what you're actually supposed to be doing right now. You don't know how long you've been unconscious, and the last thing anyone told you to do was kill that girl. Speaking of her, you still have no idea what the hell she's up to. Sure, she saved your life, but then again, she was the one who was going to end it in the first place. She's cute, but it's always the cute ones that turn out to be complete psychopaths. You and Tubbs have had to deal with people like that in the past, and you've already seen enough of her that you don't want to be around to find out if she's the exception. Besides, if you fell in love with every other person who just happened to come by and save your life, things would be a lot more awkward.
Hey, you're by that one machine of Slick's. If you have a walkie-talkie, let him know you're here.
Oh god, this thing. Supposedly, it repairs Slick's suit, but you know it does more than that. There's no visible machinery inside the pod, but Slick comes out of it looking completely brand new, and even has some things on his suit that weren't there before. You've asked him if you could step inside and try it out yourself, but he just says it'll kill you. You don't really have any reason not to believe him either. Seriously, he's just a guy in a rubber diving suit, yet he's got all these weird machines that do stuff you've never seen before. And that's not the worst of it. He was complaining earlier that this isn't even his. He's making it sound like his pod got mixed up with someone else's pod. Does he order these things custom made off the internet or something? And if it isn't his, how come it doesn't kill him? Oh well. Slick says he'll explain how everything actually works once the three of you manage to collect enough water to get out of here. So it's all good. Where is he anyways? You guys have military-grade radios, so you can easily keep in touch. But Slick never uses his. He won't tell you why either. These things have incredibly long range, so you assume he lost it and just doesn't want to own up. You can sympathize with him, considering how difficult it is to confess something like that to Tubbs. Stealing from the military is tough, and it's definitely something you guys don't want to do again in the near future.
You must be thirsty. Get some soda.
Man, all this reminiscing is starting to make you thirsty. It's a good thing these workers have a pop machine in their employee lounge. These guys must be really good and trustworthy employees. The soda's completely free. You wonder if they carry your favorite kind.
Alright. It took a few minutes, but everything's all set up and ready to go. You're going to do a quick test run of the crane arm before zipping the two of you down to the offices with a sample of that black goo. If there's anyone who can make heads or tail out of what's going on, it's the guys at the offices.
Hold up. Did you swap out the speed plugs for the brake plugs? You might need extra braking power just in case something happens.
You quickly rearrange the connections to allow for optimal braking, which is probably preferable to have over speed.
Do your job which you love. Maybe a little too much.
This is the most unique piece of machinery you've ever had the pleasure of operating in this place. And you love it. And you're off to the offices. All that's left is to find a decent sample.
Get that? Used to take water from reservoir and splash on the concerned citizen.
But you suddenly get an idea. You're headed in the wrong direction to get any water from the reservoir, so you're hoping this person will settle for a relatively clean water sample.
What the hell just happened? Apparently, you passed out again. The last thing you remember is jumping somewhere, and here you are. You've got another headache, but your feet and chest are also hurting a bit. Is this blood? Yep, your blood. This is really gross.
Wipe off all blood. Try to clean shirt if possible.
You wipe the blood off your face and start kicking some of the water you're standing on and hope that it'll dilute the stuff under your feet. You don't even want to bother thinking about what happened while you were out, and for the moment are just concerned with removing the coating of yourself from the crane's exterior.
Ask the worker what just happened. Believe him completely.
You ask the worker what knocked you out and what's going on now.
You jumped into a live electrical panel and nearly killed yourself. You seem to be taking it rather well. Why are you rolling around in a puddle?
He's also wondering why you're rolling around in the puddle. You tell him to shut up.
Realize the worker attempted CPR on you. Proceed to flip out.
Judging by the blood on that worker's outfit, it looks like he's had to resort to performing, very messy it looks, CPR on you. Taking all this other blood into consideration, you're rather grossed out as to how that could have gone. You're also in awe as to why he seems to be taking it so well in the first place.
Get a hold of yourself. Ask the worker what he's doing now.
The worker tells you to step back from the center of the crane. He takes the vat off and retrieves the contaminated vat, placing it in the middle of the crane's platform. He says he wants to get this to the offices and have the guys there figure out what it actually is.
The crane is capable of transporting only one vat. There is an electromagnet built underneath the middle of the platform to prevent the vat from slipping off while the crane is in motion.
Now look down. Coincidentally, be over deadly afraid of heights.
Curious as to where you are right now, you take a peek over the side of the crane. You're high up, but this isn't so bad. The crane is nice and large, so there's no chance of you falling off by accident if you're careful. There's no reason for you to fear a drop like this. Unless you're moving too. Now, not only are you a ways off the ground, you're reminded that you're traveling at relatively high speeds on a rickety crane that is running on two suspended railings with practically nothing to grab onto. Oh god.
Try to get into the cockpit.
It's fine. There's plenty of room in here. We've still got a ways to go, so don't expect anything eventful to happen for a little while. Just enjoy the ride.
Yep. Enjoy the ride. Doesn't mean you can't take a few stops along the way.
Slick, or where you were? Where the hell are you?
You still don't have any more of a clue as to where you are now than before. You're not even sure if you managed to get Jose back to where he's supposed to be. You tried contacting the guys in the radio they gave you, but you're only getting static. Other than that, you don't have any other means of communication. Most are useless when you can just teleport through puddles and talk to a person directly. Speaking of puddles, you bottled the one that was on the ground. It was starting to evaporate, and you weren't ready to leave just yet. You wanted to take a few minutes and sit here and listen to the ocean. At least you think this is an ocean. You're not entirely sure. It sounds really nice.
Slick? What is OBS?
You think it's short for observation, but you're not entirely sure. You know what it does though. It's a setting on your helmet visor that turns off all the flashing lights and readouts. It's basically good when all you want to do is just look at stuff without any interference.
Why are you still in this water? And how did you meet the others?
You would greatly appreciate not dwelling on why you're here until you finish with what you started. You just really need water right now. That is all.
Make an underwater portal that actually holds water.
But that's what your portal is for, right? You set it up at the bottom of the reservoir, and it just drained everything out from above.
Investigate that dark lump in the corner.
What, this? It's just a little ball of goo. Highly acidic, and nothing too special about it otherwise. Crap. You shouldn't have touched the stuff. The matter manipulation unit, a fancy ink cartridge thingy on the back of your suit, is programmed to absorb any black goo it comes in contact with. This feature is to stop it from killing you and to help you transport it to safer locations. The red bar represents the amount of goo currently stored in your suit. You can absorb and eject it at will. The green bar represents the total amount of water stored in your suit that has been taken in through the porthole. You can't do anything with the water unless you directly interact with the porthole. You've got to keep an eye on the red bar, because it dictates the maximum amount of goo your suit will hold before it dissolves. If your suit does dissolve, not only it will kill you, but it will also release all the stored water, rendering everything you've done a complete waste of time.
See if one of your visor settings can lighten up your surroundings, so it's less dark in here.
You've probably got something here that's good for the dark. Here's the combat setting. There is nothing in view for you to fight, so your visor automatically locks on the nearest potential threat. Here's Recon. It tells you stuff. Once again, nothing too interesting in view. You've got a few more settings, but this is the one you're looking for. Now to find the one that'll give you the most visibility.
You can see radio waves? That's just awesome! Try infrared though.
You can't see any further rate of infrared vision. There is not much heat out here.
Max out illumination with reckless abandon.
If you close your eyes you can see.
Raise illumination and switch to X-ray.
You quickly turn off all the light and switch to X-ray vision. The only problem is that there aren't any X-rays you can actually see. You raise your visor's illumination, just a little bit this time. Since you're currently using X-ray vision, your suit compensates by releasing lots of X-rays. You hope there isn't anything living nearby, or else they can say goodbye to their chromosomes. You still can't see very far, or through any objects for that matter. You bump the illumination up to the next level and take a look at what's under your feet. You seem to be standing up on a roof of a submerged building.
Head on down then, through that hatch.